So in the last section, we created the detonator. You'll see I've deleted it from the game, from our level template at the moment. I will put it back in later because we're not finished. We have to create an explodable box for the detonator to detonate. So let's get on with that. I'm going to go, well, first I'm going to get Godot up there, and I'm going to go scene, new scene, 2D scene, usual thing, control click or right click, rename. I'm going to change it to exploding box, call it what you want. So it's selected. I'm going to click the plus, put a sprite in. Sprite 2D, good. And the sprite's going to need a texture. So I go into art. And I want a sprite sheet. And I want my box of TNT. So select that and drag it into texture. Bit of housekeeping. So we go into animation. And it's you can see it's a 3x3 texture. So H frames 3, V frames 3. Looking good. Let's save it before we forget. So Command S, and it's a prop. So save it in props. Save. What are we going to do next? Let's put a collision shape on it. So click the plus. Collision shape 2D. The collision shape needs a shape. So let's click on shape, rectangle. And if we click on rectangle, we can just set the dimensions because we know we have a 64x64 sprite. That looks good. Save it. Have I not changed the type of exploding box? I'm getting that warning. No, it's only a node 2D. I've forgotten something. So control click or right click, change type, static body. Sorry about that. If I click on it now, it's a static body. It has a sprite. It has a collision shape. Away we go. Right, let's animate our box, make it explode. So I've got exploding box selected. We want an animation player. Okay, let's create our animation. Let's go into animation, click new. I'm going to call it explode. All right. I'm going to come down here and change snap because I want my animation to happen quickly because it's an explosion. So I'm going to change snap to 0.05. Okay. And I'm going to move my slider just so I can see my frames. It's not going to be 1 second long. It's going to be quicker. So add track. Property track, animating the sprite 2D, and the property we want to animate is the frame. So click on that, double click on that. Good. Our playhead is at 0. That looks good. New animation explode. That looks good. I need to select my sprite. And the frame is 0. The playhead is at 0. So let's keyframe that by clicking the little key. Excellent. We have moved 0.05 of a second along, and it has already advanced my frame to frame 1. So I just click the key again, and it's advanced it to frame 2, and it's advanced the playhead. So just click it again. Keep clicking it, I think, till it disappears. That looks good. So where are we? We're at 0.35 seconds. 0.35 seconds. So I'm going over there to the bit with the clock animation length, and I just type in the animation length there. Come back. play it. I've done my usual thing. I've missed out a frame, so I'm going to change it to 0.4 so it fully disappears. Come back, play it. Well, I think I was right the first time. 0.35. So I play my animation. So I play my animation, and there it goes. Right, that's not enough though. We do need to add another track, because once the animation has played, I want the scene to disappear from the game, okay? I want the box to disappear so it stops blocking the player and the player can make progress. For that, I need a new type of track. So I click on Add Track. Let's get it back at 0. In fact, let's not. We need it to be at the end. All right. Let's click on Add Track. And we want a call method track. And it asks us which node we want to animate, and it's the whole scene. So I click on Exploding Box, and I click OK. Now I've got my playhead right at the end of the animation. And I'm going to move my arrow over the playhead, and I'm going to right-click or control-click if you're on a Mac. And it says Insert Key. So I want to insert a key. And it will give me a list of methods I can call. And I just want Q3. So I just type Q3 in here. And you see it's appeared there. So I just double click on that. That will make the entire scene vanish from the game once the animation has finished playing. So the player will jump on the detonator, the animation will play, and the box will disappear. So how does the detonator communicate with the exploding box? For that, we need a thing called groups. So I'm going to click on the exploding box so that it's selected, and I'm going to come over here to where it says Node. And you can see here I've got my Signals menu. I want to add it to a group, so I click on Groups. And I'm just going to create a group, and I'm just going to call it Explodables. Explodables. Type Explodables in there. Again, call the group what you want, and then click Add. So the detonator can now communicate with the exploding box scene by calling this group Explodables. What's it going to do when it does that? Well, we need a script. So we click up here with exploding box selected, click up here to add a script. It's going to save it in the same place as the box. It's an empty script. That's great. Brilliant. That's all we want. So I'm going to call this script, type func to define the method, and I'm just going to call it explode. And it won't give me it won't complete it for me because it doesn't know what I'm trying to do. So parentheses and a colon, and then move it down. You see it's already indented, which is great. I need to get hold of this animation player, and I want it to play the explode animation. So I get hold of a node down the scene tree by using the $. And if I type animation player, we've seen this before. Animation player dot play. And it gives me a choice, and I want it to play explode. And that's great. I'm going to save that. So now, from the detonator, we can call the group Explodables, and we can tell it to execute the function explode. It'll play the animation, and then at the end, it should disappear from the game. So we've done a few things there. Now we need to do one more thing, which is sort out the collision layers. So I've clicked back on exploding box, go into collision. Should have done this sooner. I deselect player because I'm not the player, I am a prop. And I think that's on layer 5. Yes, it is. I can interact with the player, and I can interact with the enemies. That's brilliant. So I'm going to save that. And that is our scene done.